day one of free agency was just day one. Were you expecting to make, I guess, kind of like aggressive or whatever word, headline-worthy moves on day three, though?
No, I mean, I think we were just always going to try and look to try and make the team better if I could. And, these were kind of some things that came up, yesterday. And just looking at our group and talking with the coaches, it's, we just feel like today we're a better hockey team.
Letty specifically, did you have a sense that he might get put on waivers, or was that a little bit of a surprise?
No, that was, kind of a surprise. He's a good veteran D, but, I know St. Louis is trying to do things. We're up against the cap a little bit, so sometimes those are kind of the consequences of that, and we lucked out. We really like the player. Doug Huda's coached him before. Doug Waits had him in New York, so we feel like we know the person pretty well, and he's someone who can skate and transport pucks and defend with his skating. So he's someone who'll help us get the puck out of our end, which was an issue for us at times last year.
Is he somebody that is pretty comfortable with both the left and right side?
Yeah, I think him and Dimitri. I think they're both pretty comfortable playing the offsides, which is always a bonus to have that flexibility. So, but good guy, and he's even as he's been in the league a while, he's still a pretty high-end skater.
One thing you bring in with both Dimitri and Nick is Stanley Cup pedigree. Obviously, John, got there last year but didn't win it. What does that say about the back end, having that experience and with the skating ability to stay that durable for a long season like that?
Yeah, it's important. Guys who have kind of been through the wars and knows what it takes to win, and our group's trying to figure that out. As you guys witnessed last year, the third period collapses or one-goal losses. These are the guys who've been in those situations when the stakes are the highest, and they've done well. So all this stuff hopefully can rub off on our group and kind of push us forward a little bit.
One thing that you guys have preached since you guys brought in everybody, especially last year with Warsaw, was his competition in training camp. It's a lot of defensemen there for a guy like Sam Dickinson, Michael Misa to extent I know is a forward, but was it say that competition level for them to make the team this season maybe?
Yeah, I mean I've been kind of clear with that from day one here that competition is very important. We've had it, I think each year we've kind of increased the competition level of the group. This year it'll be very high again, and that's what it's like in sports, not just hockey and everything. You got to earn your ice time, you got to earn your roster spot, you got to earn all these things, and we're starting to get to that point where nothing's going to be given to anyone, and they're going to really truly have to go out there and earn their position.
Mike, there was kind of a report earlier that you'd maybe sent a message out to some agents that, hey, we've got cap space here. If your guy's interested, maybe we can have a conversation. Is that kind of fair to say? Or?
Yeah, I mean, I don't even think I had to kind of put that out there. I think everyone kind of looks around, and especially the teams that are kind of up against the cap. I think we're probably their first call if they're if they're in or looking to move a body out and move somebody out. I guess we're probably one of the first calls they make.
Does this change your expectations for this season? How do you kind of look at things now?
No, I mean, for me, it's just about taking steps and being better. I think the end of the year I probably told you guys, and before the draft, like the back end was something that was for me priority one to address and try and get better. And I think we've done that not only with these two guys today, but with adding Klinger yesterday or 2 days ago.
I think you guys have eight D-men now on one-way deals, if I'm not mistaken. Are you kind of comfortable with keeping that number going into the season if there's no other moves made? Or?
Yeah, I mean, we'll figure it out. It's if we get to that point and however the competition shakes out and whoever plays well, I think we're prepared to kind of just figure it out from there. Whether that's keeping 8D or keeping 7D, we'll keep the best players and who give us the best chance to win.
Does Shakir need waivers to go down now?
He's close to it. If he doesn't have it now, I think he's probably only a few games away. So.
What does this mean for Sam Dickinson and sort of his opportunity or chances to make the NHL team next year?
I mean, it hasn't changed. It's the same in our eyes. Sam's. It's been good to see him this week. He's just a year away from last year. He looks, more confident, stronger, more self-assured. So, Same as post draft. Those guys are, it's going to be on them to show us that they belong here and they can play at this level. And if he does, it's just like the rest. We'll figure it out. We'll make room for him.
If a player has to go back to the OHL, be it as Sam or Michael Misa, what can they learn in that kind of extra year after they both obviously dominated the league last year? But what could they learn?
Well, they're still young players, so there's always things for them to work on. Our development coaches will, if that's the case, our development coaches will give them kind of directives of things that we really want them to work on. And at the same time, you can always continue to work on your leadership skills. Mies was captain there as a young 18-year-old, and if he happens to go back there, he'll be captain. I'm sure there's probably a good chance if Sam goes back, he'll be captain there. So those little things about leadership and dealing with expectations and pressure, I think all those things help a player grow, and those guys will be they'll be really important parts of their team if that's what happens.
One of the things with Michael and the possibility of going back, I mean, the NCAA and stuff like that now, how does that, I don't want to say complicate things, but just, with the ELC and things like that, I mean, would there be a preference of him if he doesn't make the team to go to college or OHL if he doesn't make it for some reason?
We haven't really gotten into that with him or his agent or anything. I think we just wanted him to enjoy getting drafted, enjoy this week, and get to know him a little bit, and introduce him to the organization. And then, probably in the next couple of weeks, we'll have a conversation with him and his agent about how they feel about it first and foremost. How we feel is one thing, but if that's the case, the kid's got to be comfortable with whatever decision is made.
You talked about Letty and what you like about his game. What you like about Orlov in his game?
Just someone I've kind of always admired. He's got some bite to him. A good puck moving two-way D. They're not easy to find, guys that can impact the game at both ends of the rink. I think he defends hard, and just his competitiveness is what we're always trying to add to this group. Someone who's got some competitive fire in them, and same thing as I think Max Puppy's won before. So these are all things that we felt were important, and to bring him in our group, and he's moves the puck really well too. So I think it'll help us get out of our end, and it'll help get the puck up to our forwards, and so I'm sure that'll help our forward group as well.
You also see the potential that he can be a good mentor for Shakir too, just the language part of it and that thing.
Yeah, no, that can't hurt for sure. For a young kid like Shakir, he's come a long way. He's his English has gotten much better, but to even have someone who's been in the league as long as Dimitri has to kind of be there as maybe a sounding board when things are going well or things aren't going well, to have a fellow countryman there, I'm sure will be helpful.
Why do you think Dimitri, was open to coming to San Jose at this stage of his career? Why do you think he wanted to come here?
I think for him and Klingberg and even a lot of the agents, and as I've gone through this process this year, I think people are just excited about what we're building here, in the direction the team's going. So, if you're someone like him, I think the opportunity sometimes, as you get older, that opportunity to play with kind of young guys who come to the rink and it's exciting, and there's lots of energy every day. I think that can kind of be a breath of fresh air. So he's excited.
With the prospect pool the way it is now, and a lot of guys on the cusp, how do you balance? Obviously, you're bringing in some guys now, sort of more win now, really help the NHL team, but also, enabling those young guys who are ready to make that next step to have that opportunity to come up and impact the team.
Yeah, I mean, if the young guys are ready, I don't think we'll block them. We just got to make sure they're ready. But when you're a young team, sometimes you got to get older before you get younger. So you got to have some of these older vets around who know the league and had success and are professionals and can handle the daily grind of the NHL. So it's important to have those guys around, and we'll balance it with those young guys. If those guys are ready, then they'll play. But it's great to have kind of some of these veterans around who are productive players who have been around the league and have won and know what it takes. I think it's that's kind of the line we're trying to juggle right now.
On July 1st,
Go ahead.
On July 1st, you mentioned you're looking for a D that could help get the puck out. You also mentioned you're looking for a number 3 goalie. Any other kind of areas that you might be looking for from now to training camp? A scoring winger, another kind of centerman?
We'll kind of just keep our eyes open. I think we probably, to his question, we could probably use, a top 9 winger if something like that comes available. But if not, then, we're more than happy to kind of let it play out and see what happens the rest of the summer, and then see where the kids are when camp starts.
I expect to hear from other teams, like you said, maybe some teams that are near the cap or over the cap to, maybe there's something that can be worked out there, I guess.
I'm sure I'll hear for some as the summer goes on. We'll see. I mean, you guys might know. I don't know what's happened with Ehlers.
Yeah.
I think when that domino falls, other things might start to happen. So, yeah, we'll be kind of here to listen and see if it makes sense for us.
And then
Take a few more.
off the ice, camp this year, a lot of on ice is they're skating hard. But is there anybody that maybe under the radar has kind of really impressed you, just the way they are off the ice in this development camp?
Yeah, it's a good group of kids. The on-ice stuff is what it is, right? It's July. These kids have been off the ice for a little bit, so I think Eric Polkamp. We've been around him a couple years now, and he's got a ton of energy and personality to him, and and I think you can even see it on the ice. He's kind of taking charge a little bit of his team out there, so maybe he's the one, I guess.